Yeah, traditionally I'll say this, I've been here 20 years, but even before that, traditionally there is kind of a resistance to that, mainly because the brothers ran the whole bakery.
Right.
And so obviously it impacts you directly as the amount of volume you have. Now it's a little different story. As I mentioned, we have probably, I might say on an hourly basis, not just a human person per person, but I mean hours worked in the bakery, we're probably 75% lay employees now. So the impact of increasing volume would be different. It would not impact the monks in the same way as in the past. So I personally feel you could increase our volume. Whether you could double it or triple it, I don't know, but I think that point has to be made. There's a distinction between totally monastic run bakery and now the model that we're working with now, which is largely lay employees. So I think, and we're not here to become millionaires, we'll say that too. So we're here to pay our bills and to live the life we live and to help people if we can with whatever we have left over. So there's no incentive for us to work more than we need, simply.
Now you are, I think I have read that you're providing some significant support to a couple of other monasteries, and maybe in Africa or
yes, we have what we call foundations. As we were founded from the Abbey of Gethsemane in Kentucky, we in turn have made foundations. We have 2 in Nigeria and 1 in Brazil. Those were founded mostly in the 70s. And I should say that was in large part due to the income that was generated during those years in the bakery. We were able to financially support these communities.
Are you supporting them today even? Or?
Yes, although not as intensively. The one in Brazil especially is well established now. They have their own monastic industries and they pretty much are self-supporting. They have become an autonomous abbey, which some of the main requirements are you have to have a certain minimum of professed monks there, which they now have, and you have to be economically self-supporting, which they are. The 2 houses in Nigeria are a different story. They are still, due to the terrible economic conditions in Africa in general, they're still struggling economically, although they have a boom of young monks there in vocations. But financially speaking, and I think it's really a national and even continental issue there in Nigeria and Africa, that the economic situation is just so difficult there. So, but we do support them still quite a bit.
So more profits from an expanded business would enable you to be involved in more foundations, perhaps? Would that be an incentive? You say that profit is not necessarily an incentive, but if profits went up, you could do more good in some other areas outside of supporting yourselves here. Is that a logic that makes any sense?
Yes and no. If that could be done, I guess, without interfering with our life. I mean, as I mentioned before, our vocation is union with God and the search for Christian perfection. So that's what we do. And everything else has to be geared to that end. So even good things, like, certain monastic orders, like Benedictines run colleges, for instance, or they may have run parishes. We've never done that. in our order, because the church believes, and it's the firm tradition of monasticism, that there are even greater goods that we serve through praising God, by our lives and throughout the day. We basically fulfill a function that every Christian should be doing. But reality is that not every Christian has the opportunity, obviously, to dedicate 5 or 6 or 7 hours a day to praising God and praying for the world in general. So the church has always highly valued the monastic presence in what we do. So even good work is not done for the sake of something what we feel is even better.